Good evening and welcome to the finals of Grand Prix Atlantic City. I'm Brian David Marshall. I'm joined by Marshall Sutcliffe, and we are watching Christian Calcano, Grand Prix champion, versus Alexander Hayne, the Grand Prix and Pro Tour champion. And we are underway with a lightning berserker.
Yeah, to sort of set the stage here, this draft is a little bit weird at the table. There's a lot of kind of junky decks to come out of it. Alex is actually one of them. He's got a low curve aggressive deck that's capable of applying pressure, but it doesn't have a lot of the premium cards that you kind of hope for in this format.
He really likes these decks in this format.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily a bad deck. It just isn't one of those decks that has a lot of all-stars on it. If you look at the other side of the table, Christian Calcano's white-black, and he's actually got what you would consider like a solid deck here.
And look at Calcano with the perfect card, Arishan Cleric.
Wow, that is nice. Main deck Arishan Cleric is not something that you love. It's okay in the format, but it's doing great work here.
It's funny, he has a Mastery of the Unseen in his deck, and sometimes you really just are looking for cheap creatures.
Can't agree more.
That you want to flip up, you want to be able to pay like a Typhoid Rat.
And just to hold the fort to give you time to build up the mana.
Yeah.
And the fort looks like it's being held pretty well here. One card that Alex is playing, and we might get a chance to see here, and it is Abzan Runemark ×2.
Huh.
And we've seen him fire that off on the rock and just sort of start bashing. Now, it's a risky play. It's a high variance play, as we say, meaning that it's either going to do really good in winning the game, or it could put a big dent in your...
Are we going to see it right here?
It's very possible.
No.
He's not going to take the risk here.
So, Ultimate Price, Reach of Shadows, Merciless Executioner, Hidden Dragon Slayer, just some of the removal spells lurking about in Calcano's deck.
He's also got a pair of Silmgar Butchers in his main deck here, too. That can get the job done.
Culligan Forerunners, hard cast for Alexander Hayne. Yep. So he's got a 3/3 there now.
I'll say
joining
that
his 1/1 and his 1/3 rock.
From a matchup perspective, it favors Calcano quite heavily, just the decks.
Yeah.
You know, the draws are going to be a factor, the play is going to be a factor, but if you just look at the decks and how they match up, it actually favors Calcano pretty strongly, and we're seeing evidence of that in the early stages here as well, as Calcano really has the ground game on a pretty nice little lockdown here, and he's holding Alex to just 1 point of damage per turn, which hasn't even gotten back down to below his starting life total yet.
Here comes a Sandcrafter Mage, putting his Dromoka Warrior to a 4/2. Now he's going to send that in. He's like, I'll happily eat your your Culligan Forerunners.
Yeah, he'll trade for that.
I'll trade here. And Alexander Hayne takes it.
Yeah, come at me, bro.
It's such a funny game. You come out very aggressively with a 1-drop, then your opponent plays the most stally of 2 drops, and you're like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah, well, there was that start.
Maybe I'll get you down to 20 in 2 more turns.
Yeah, that's the argument against cards like Lightning Berserker, and you played out there on turn 1, is that almost any 2-drop will block and trade for it.
Sure.
That's pretty consistent. Even one like Arishan Cleric, which is just kind of a mediocre, 2, it does a good job against it. And Alex still just chipping away in the air.
Oh boy.
Speaking of getting chippy. Yeah, he went pretty deep. He
plays
did.
An Aven Skirmisher and a Morph, but you know what? He now has a 5/3 there, 5/3 Trampler in the Culligan Forerunners. A couple better options for trading on that Dromoka Warrior now. But we've seen Butcher's Glee from Calcano. It was how he won his last match. Seemingly impossibly.
I was watching that one down in it was insane.
Yeah.
So intense down there.
At some point we're like, wait, did he block?
Yeah, because it was hard to tell. He actually ended up taking off his hat. That's when he's in the tank.
Yeah. There's the Light Walker. And Alexander Hayne down to 12.
This is kind of a weird little curve out for Calcano, still on 4 mana, but look at all the creatures. He's got 5 creatures, facing down 5 creatures from 4 mana on Alexander Hayne as well. They're all small. Everything's tiny.
Two big hits from the Dromoka Warrior.
Yeah, that Culligan Forerunners is getting quite large. The Typhoid Rats, though, does threaten to gobble it up. It does get to hit for some damage thanks to Trample, but...
Fly in the air for 2. And Calcano is down below 20.
Now, one of the ways that Alexander Hayne can steal a win here He's got a few cards to do it
War
with.
Flare?
Yeah, he's got War Flare. He's also got Berserker's Onslaught. That gives all your attacking creatures double strike.
Sure.
So, having a card like a Kolagon's Forerunners and a whole bunch of creatures on the battlefield can be really big game with that. And that's the kind of card that can change this kind of middling draw. Like, he's got kind of a bunch of stuff out there, but nothing's really moving forward for Hayne in a direction. He just finally got Calcano down below 20. That's the kind of card that can really just turn the tides on Calcano. Although I'll say that even Double Strike there is going to do a good job too.
Yeah, even Skirmisher.
Yeah, Skirmisher.
That's a 2/2 double striker right now. The Megamorph. Calcano sitting on a pair of Butchers.
Yeah, that one's the Sunstriker right on the bottom.
Oh, the Sunstriker, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, he's got both.
Oh yeah, the Skirmisher's up there, yeah. Sorry.
All Avens all the time here
Yeah.
for Alex Hayne.
Even theme deck.
Yeah, even a rock in there just to mix it up a little bit. He does have 6 power now in the air though, effectively.
Yeah.
And the Sunstriker is going to become an issue pretty quickly.
Yeah, that hits for 4. And so he's taking 6, he falls to 13. Alexander Hayne climbs to 13 himself there.
Calcano's still not able to get above 4 mana here.
Yeah, doesn't have any tricks in hand. Real tricks. He's got 2 Silumgar Butcher.
He'd love to see a land and start casting that kind of spell here. He can take down the Sunstriker.
Take down the Sunstriker and then just attacks with everyone.
We did see Calcano, though, his deck has a nice curve to it. He basically won that semifinal match on 3 lands.
Yeah, 3 lands.
He had to sneak in some unlikely damage. He just said, okay, I'll attack with both and give up one of them. Didn't get blocked. These things had to kind of come together for him there, and it might have to happen here as well if he can't find that 5th land. Again, Alex's draw hasn't been anything spectacular here. Hidden Dragon Slayer as
Hidden Dragon Slayers, wow.
The Forerunners, and that's a nice one because that's a threat that could come down the line, but it doesn't solve his immediate problem.
Well, it is a lifelinker though. So.
It is, and it leaves Alex with just the Lightning Berserker. And I think we're going to see a big attack here.
I think we are going to see an Alpha Strike here.
Which is it? 3, that's 4, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13? Yikes, that's lethal. So Alex would have to trade. It would also leave Calcano ostensibly at 16, though with Alex having cards in hand and mana on tap, that isn't guaranteed at all. So it looks like the Erishan Cleric is going to stay back to block the Lightning Berserker here.
Okay. So this is 12 attacking.
Yeah, this is a hedge against Alex having a removal spell or some extra piece of damage. Exactly. It makes sense. It was really unlikely that Calcano's going to actually just cleanly make Alex chump block here, representing lethal, so he's going to hedge away from it here. This does mean that Alex is not compelled to block, though. 2 Silumgar Butcher in hand for Calcano. He's also got another Sandcrafter Mage. Wow, that Hidden Dragon Slayer was a big game here.
Oh, it's been tremendous for him. He's just eating elk herds. So there we see the Lightning Berserker blocking. He pumps it once. And so there you see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage coming through. 3 damage, 3 life gained for Christian Calcano. And still in a good position on this board.
He does, yeah, that was a big turn for him. He bolstered his life total up quite a bit there, out of reasonable range for Hayne. And he put Hayne all the way down to 4. Ooh,
There's a Shockmaw Dragon.
That would have been good a couple of turns ago. It's a little late now, though.
It still kills a couple things if it attacks.
Yeah, it might. Let's see if Calcano, he has finally found a land here. And can he push through enough damage? If he plays Silumgar Butcher, sacrifices it to itself, kills the Sunstriker, that leaves Alex Hayne with 3 blockers, facing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers, but that means that Alex could still get away with just taking 2 damage there and not dying. Now, another option that Calcano has is to get a little feisty here and hope that the dragon blocks, and then you can use it to finish it off. That happens sometimes, too.
He really wants to get rid of that double striker, though.
Yeah, that's the more conservative play for sure. It's a little too hopeful, I think, to rumble here. So I do expect him to take that thing out. And if he does that, he'll be sacrificing one of his 1 toughness creatures, since he can assume that that's going to die anyway thanks to the Shockmaw Dragon. So probably Typhoid Rat's is going to die here. Maybe Lightwalker if he values the Rats a little higher. Right now, all of Alex's creatures have flying, so the Rats doesn't look too great, and the 1 extra power from the Lightwalker is a little better.
Although any attacks are a little scary for Hayne right now.
Mm-hmm.
Heads in hand, thinking.
Yeah, it's been a long weekend, right?
Oh, yeah.
And these guys are kind of hanging on to their focus and their concentration, and of course this comes at the most important time of the whole weekend for them, the finals.
Almost 9:30 here on the East Coast.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No wonder I'm hungry for dinner. All right.
Yeah. And so he sacrifices the Lightwalker and takes down the Sunstriker.
Right, so the Rat can attack profitably into all of these creatures. So even though it has 1 less power, it's actually just a better attacker in this position.
Right.
And this is, well, it's technically a lethal attack here with that Dromical Warrior, but Alex has plenty of blocking options, so it won't actually kill him. But the Rat is interesting here. Alex doesn't really want to trade any of these creatures for it, but he might be forced to, throw the Skirmisher in front or something like that.
Well, if he has to trade Shockmaw.
Right, see, this is why, is that there's no good blocks where, like, if he double blocks the Warrior like this, then he's going to have to take the 1 for the Rat or trade his Shockmaw Dragon for it.
Which he goes 2 for 1 on the Dromoka Warrior.
Mm-hmm. Which is a 2 for 1, by the way, in Calcano's favor here. And it also knocks Alex down to 3, leaving him with just the Shockmaw Dragon. Yeah, that was huge. Calcano's really crafted this board beautififully. Dragon in, that's going to take out the Rat.
Fascinating.
That's pretty aggressive from Hayne.
What does Hayne have here?
Channel Harm? I don't think he's playing that. Nothing.
Nothing. Stone, nothing. Block with my face. All right, Christian Calcano up 1 game to nothing on Alexander Hayne. White-black, kind of janky creatures with some good removal versus the red-white, very janky, very janky deck from Alexander Hayne. But again, this is something he feels really comfortable with. He's really like these super aggro decks, like really just cheap, low-cost creatures. He's been playing Gadol Lurkers.
On 1?
On 1. He's won multiple games to get into the top 8 with like Conifer Striders and Tygam Strikes. He's just like, I get him for 14.
He's just playing cheap.
He's like, I get him for 14.
It's funny.
Yeah,
that is a lot of damage.
Because it's a hexproof 5/1. Mm-hmm. It gets the bonus from the strike. Then the rebound, he does it again the next turn.
That's right, unblockable.
So,
it is funny to look at the list here. I mean, he's got some decent stuff, but you can tell what kind of deck he's playing. He first picked out of his Fate Reforged pack, Teamer Battle Rage. He wants to rumble. And he's playing his 8th, 9th, and 10th picks. They are Aven Skirmisher, Abzan Runemark, Abzan Runemark.
Yes!
So you know what he's doing. He's putting out a bunch of cheap creatures, trying to make them big, trying to just force through damage and get the game over. And
things are weird. I just saw, he didn't put it in, but I just saw Calcano eyeballing a resupply.
And was that a Channel Harm that Calcano just put in his sleeve there? He's got one in his list. He didn't start it. Yeah, we'll see. That could be interesting as well.
So I'm eyeballing the game life.
Another card that I see that Calcano could consider switching out for something a little more expensive. He's got a Karsi Sadist. Not a great card, but another 1/3 that can come down and block and maybe even gain him some life if needed. I mean, that's the one thing about Alexander's deck here. It's obvious, right? I mean, it's telling you right in your face exactly what it's trying to do, and there are cards that are quite good against that are often found in the sideboard. That Arishan Cleric, if it wasn't main, would be coming in here for sure.
That Arishan Cleric was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was. It was absolutely fantastic. It really was.
And Hidden Dragon Slayer has been doing hard work
Yeah.
for Christian Calcano. That was the first pick for him. First pick in the second pack.
That's right.
His first pick in the first pack, ultimate price.
Yeah, great first pick.
Where is that? That's the second or top uncommon? Like what
I think it's probably just the best uncommon.
best uncommon.
Yeah.
Better than Rakshasa Gravecaller.
Yeah, it's
better
like
than-
right in that realm.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. We can fight about it, but it's just right there.
Better than an Ukid Cobra.
Yeah, it's
For
definitely
sure.
better than that.
Definitely better
Yeah,
than
it's
that.
definitely better than that. Rakshasa Gravecaller, we could have a good fight.
But let's talk about Calcano's later picks here. Where he gets past a third pick, Mastery of the Unseen in Pack 3. Fate Reforged is so much more fun when that happens.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we're underway here in Game 2. Planes on each side. I think I see the enchantment we were just talking about in Calcano's hand. There it is,
Bang.
Mastery of the Unseen.
That's going to be huge.
Smoldering Efreet from Alexander Hayne.
I love this opening. This is going to be such an exciting game because the deal is there's going to be a tipping point with Master of the Unseen. Once Calcano can start activating it and gain like even just one hit of life off of it, the game will probably fall out of reach for Hayne. But Hayne is going to put huge pressure on Calcano here in the early stages and try to just knock him out of the game before Master of the Unseen becomes a factor at all.
3/3 Sandcrafter Mage, perfect card right there.
That is
bolsters
lovely.
itself, says it's going to hold the ground.
That is lovely.
If you want to get past it, you're going to need to use a trick or a removal spell. Oh, I'll bathe it in Dragonfire.
And here we go. Alexander Hayne's got the pedal of the metal.
Yeah, I will honor your Sandcrafter Mage with fire.
Yeah, and this is how this is going to go. About two more turns. This turn and the next one.
All right, but we're at I've got a blocker.
Apparently Calcano doesn't have black mana, but not super relevant here. And this is a big test. If Alexander attacks, it means he's got something and can get through the manifest. If he doesn't, that could have been the pendulum starting to swing back towards Calcano.
Does he have a Misthoof Kieran? Calcano? I mean, Hayne?
Hayne does, yes.
Yeah, that's what it looked like right there.
Yeah, you got it.
And that's what he does. He decides just to make a Misthoof Kieran. He's like, I don't need to
Yeah, that's a big problem.
get my Smoldering Efreet into the red zone here.
Right, and here is the first of what could be many manifests, but that
Obviously a swamp.
that is exactly how that card works. We didn't see it, right? But
We didn't see it, but it's obviously a swamp.
99%er. This is going to be intense.
Calcano's down 12-11 here.
Yeah, and he's facing down 3 in the air every single turn.
Here's the Soul Summons. And in comes the first manifest.
Properly aggressive there from Calcano.
Yeah, well, he knows he has to be.
Well, he doesn't have to be. I mean, if Alex kills a manifest, he's taking an extra 2 damage this turn. It can add up.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
This is another reason why you would want to have a double block
There's
available.
Berserker's Onslaught. That's not quite game.
No, but
Not
it would be
quite
10
game.
total unless Calcano chump blocks.
All right, Calcano blocks.
What does he have?
Does he have Artful Maneuver?
Artful Maneuver for the trade.
So yeah, he gets the trade.
Still, this is going to be a major.
It's a plains.
He needs to find. It was a land. We knew that. He needs to find a way to kill that Misthoof Kieran pronto. If he can, then he's got a chance. If he doesn't, he's dead in the air. So this is pretty much it right here.
He needed a swamp.
He doesn't have it.
Wow.
Unreal.
Yeah, and Berserker's Onslaught is one of the premium cards in this draft format.
Yeah, you have to put it in the right deck, and that's what Alex did.
Yeah, well, it's like, was it his first pick overall of the draft?
No, it wasn't. It was his second. He took Flatten.
Wow. Got past the Berserker's Onslaught.
Yeah. And said, all right, good enough for me.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, it's really good. It's good in the right spot. Obviously, if you find yourself behind, it's not very good. But Alexander Hayne has built this deck specifically so that he doesn't find himself behind.
These two players having a good time. They see each other fairly often.
Yeah, both GP champs and both GP grinders as well.
We saw Calcano had a Mind Rot in his hand. That game, takes out a pressure point and brings in that looks like
Ob's on advantage.
No, I don't think it was Ob's advantage. It's the other one. Fate
Forgotten.
Fate Forgotten. Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like that's what he had. I mean, I think if he had an Obzon advantage, he would have brought it in. Pretty good with the Obzon rune marks as well. Yeah, might be able to get a little extra there.
You know, I wonder if he actually just would prefer to have the Fave Forgotten because, you know, I don't know if he knows it, but Alex is running those pair of Obzon
Yeah,
rune
that's what I
marks.
was just saying.
Oh, that's what you mean?
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you need to target their Berserker's Onslaught or whatever. It probably wouldn't come up.
Alexander Hayne feeling pretty good. One with my rare, yeah!
I drew my rare again. Yeah, Alex, his deck is very well set up to beat a turn 2 Master of the Unseen. You know, Master of the Unseen is a slow card.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. It dominates the late game, but it's very slow.
Yeah, I mean, just and really, you need like Calcano needs to get to like turn 6 and be able to flip up 1 or 2 guys along the way.
And if he does, then the game's basically over. Now, I will say though that Alex, you know, in his Berserker's Onslaught, can overcome the life gain pretty easily. Even if Calcano gains 3 or 6, you know, if he has a card that powerful, it can deal so much damage. Calcano was close though. Look, if he would have killed the flyer there, then Alex has no creatures in a Berserker's Onslaught and he would have stabilized.
Right, if he just draws his ultimate price there.
Yeah, well, or a swamp. Might have had the ultimate price.
Okay, we're underway. Both players keep 7 cards. Swamp from Calcano. Mountain, nothing from Alexander Hayne. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous as if he misses his 2.
Soul summons for Calcano.
We'll run over to the feature match here and tell him to start over if he misses his 2.
He misses his 2. No 2-drop from
Maybe he's got a
Alexander
twin
Hayne.
bolt.
There's a Sandcrafter Mage. Get in for 3 with my Manifest.
Doesn't look like he's got a twin bolt. Wow, this is a great curve for Calcano because Alexander Hayne's deck does not play defense well, and he's discarding. Obzon Rune Mark goes to the bin. This could be over fast, BDM.
This is going to be over
Is
fast.
Calcano going to be a 2-time GP champ?
He's holding Harsh Sustenance in his hand as well. There's an Arishan Cleric.
Are you serious?
Yes.
And he's even got a Typhoid Rats here too?
Yeah, that's 4 creatures.
He could kill him next turn, right?
He can kill Alexander Hayne next turn.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Actually, he needs a creature to do it. And this is going to be over quick. A shame for Alex Hayne. This is a tough way to go out here.
All right, everybody comes in.
So it's 3, 5, 6, 7. That's going to drop him
Goes
down
to
to 5.
5.
He can't quite finish him here, but this is all but over.
And there's the hand. Christian Calcano wins the Grand Prix, defends the home turf against Alexander Hayne. Holy cow, that's exciting. Christian Calcano, 2-time Grand Prix champion. I know there's a lot of people in New York who are very excited right now.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys could hear it from our mics because it's kind of far away, but there was a big round of applause for Calcano after he finished that thing off. Congratulations to him, our champion, and congratulations to Alex as well, our runner-up. A really tough way to go out. He missed a bunch of land drops and couldn't quite get there. You saw Calcano kind of say, that's how it goes.
Right.
I mean, he's going to take the win,
Sure.
and it's obviously
Yes.
well-deserved by him, but it's a tough way to go on either side.
Let's